So let's continue working on the interior of our bag, and we're now going to attach our slip pocket that we made previously with our pretty piping. I did end up top stitching the piping right below it after all, just to keep the pieces together. So I have clipped it in place. Follow the pattern instructions. You'll see that it does hang off a little bit on the ends, but once we baste it in place, we'll go ahead and just trim that. And for now, I want to make a marking on my pocket. I'm going to go about 7.5 inches over is my preference. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7.5. I'm going to do a marking here. I'm using what's called a Hera marker, so that I'm not using chalk, because chalk may or may not come off. So this is a good marking tool for me. Just give it an indentation there. You can't see mine, I don't think, but I can see it sufficiently enough to go ahead and sew. So we're going to go to the sewing machine. I like to first sew my divider line, and then I will smooth it out. I'll baste the sides, trim it, and then we'll do a final stitch on the bottom here. But we'll do that together. You can divide your pocket up as you like. I made mine big enough for a phone to sit going this way, and then a little small pocket over here for some lipsticks or what have you. So let's go ahead and get your pocket, your slip pocket, attached to the other lining piece, and I'll see you at the sewing machine. Okay, we're going to go ahead and sew up our divider line for our slip pocket. And I'm going to switch out to a Teflon foot, because there is a little bit of vinyl up here, which may not work well on my regular metal foot. So we'll just do a quick switch. Put your threads behind you. And we've already drawn that previous line using our Hera marker, so I'm going to sew that line first. And we'll start right above the pocket line. I'm going to get my hump jumper so that I can tell it's not flat. If it's not flat, there's opportunity for the machine for the threads to jam. So that just keeps it nice and flat and straight. So go ahead and give it a couple of stitches and back stitch, and then proceed down the line. And do a couple of stitches on the back too. Okay. And now we're going to stitch the sides to hold them in place. Make sure they're nice and taut. You can do a basting stitch or whatever you like. I'm going to stitch, if you want to, you could turn it over so you can see where you're stitching, because we're going to cut off the extra spot. So I'm going to do that. And I'll do a basting stitch and save my thread. And we'll do this side. Then all we're going to do is trim off this little excess part here so that we have a straight line. We'll do that now. Don't cut the lining, just cut the slip pocket excess. Not too much, really. You could use a rotary cutter if you want, but I don't have one here, so I'm doing this. Okay. Clean up my mess. And the last step for this, besides a haircut, is I'm going to go ahead and put the machine back to a 3.5. Put my favorite foot back on that I thought I lost, but I didn't. She's here. And now we're going to just sew up the long edge here. So just use your edge of your foot as a guide and sew it. And that is that. Now we have a nice deeper pocket for our phone, so she can go horizontally. Is that horizontally? Yeah, horizon. And then a little smaller pocket for some lipsticks or even a couple of little credit cards if you like. So it's a nice size slip pocket. So that completes the interior pieces. Now we're going to put this girl together. So making great progress. It's going to be a really fun, pretty bag. So I'll see you back at my desk.